Imagine you are standing in the middle of a vast and silent square, where the only sound is the hiss of 1,000 fountains. Around you, as far as the eye can see, stand identical skyscrapers, all clad in pristine white marble that gleams under the harsh desert sun. Golden domes glitter atop them. The 8-lane highway stretching before you is perfectly smooth, without a single pothole, and completely empty. No cars, no pedestrians, just a magnificent, sterile silence. Now imagine you fly hundreds of kilometres away into the middle of a pitch-black desert. There, a gaping football field-sized crater spews fire into the night sky. That fire has been burning uninterrupted for over half a century. A man-made hell nicknamed the Gate to Hell. These are not two scenes from different science fiction films. Both are coexisting realities within a single country, Turkmenistan. Welcome to one of the most closed-off, most mysterious, and most eccentric countries on Earth. A nation often nicknamed the North Korea of Central Asia, yet possessing natural gas reserves to rival the Gulf states. A nation ruled by a dynasty of unique leaders who build giant golden statues of themselves and their pet dogs, write their own holy books that everyone must read, and effectively seal their 6 million citizens off from the rest of the world. What is really happening behind Turkmenistan's marble curtain? Why is this country so secretive? And what secrets are hidden behind the silent splendor and the eternal desert fire? Prepare yourself, because we are about to peel back the layers of Turkmenistan's mystery, piece by piece, in detail. Ashgabat, a symphony of marble, gold, and silence roots of disaster, and an obsessive rebirth. To understand Ashgabat, you must understand the disaster that birthed it. At 1:12 a.m. on October 6, 1948, Ashgabat, then part of the Soviet Union, was destroyed by one of the deadliest earthquakes of the 20th century. Registering 7.3 on the Richter scale, the quake leveled the city in seconds, killing over 110,000 people, almost its entire population. The tragedy was so severe it was censored by Stalin. The full story only emerged decades later. Turkmenistan's first president, Saparmurat Niyazov, lost his entire family in that earthquake and grew up as an orphan in Soviet state homes. When he came to power after independence in 1991, Niyazov had a vision: to rebuild Ashgabat from scratch upon the ruins of its past. Funded by billions of dollars from newly discovered natural gas reserves, he didn't just want to build a city, he wanted to build a utopia. A white city, Akshaharim, that would symbolize Turkmenistan's new golden age, completely erasing the grey and brutal Soviet legacy. World records and forced aesthetics. The result is an architectural obsession without parallel. Ashgabat officially holds the Guinness World Record for the highest concentration of white marble buildings in the world. Over 540 new buildings are clad in 4.5 million square metres of imported marble. Ministries, universities, elite apartments, lampposts, sidewalks, and even rarely used pedestrian underpasses are lined with luxury marble. This splendour is forced. This is not a city that grew organically. It's a city designed by one man. The highways, called prospects, are extraordinarily wide, designed for military parades, not daily traffic. Between the roads are perfectly manicured parks with complex irrigation systems, an incredible luxury in a country that is 70% desert. Bizarre, symbolic architecture. Every building is a statement. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs building is shaped like a giant globe, topped with a replica of Turkmenistan. The Ministry of Education is shaped like an open book, the Runama, of course. The Wedding Palace is an alien-like structure consisting of a giant octagonal star, a Turkmen symbol, with a globe at its centre. Within the city, there is the Alem, the world's largest indoor Ferris wheel. another Guinness record, housed inside a building that looks like a giant thermometer. The ghost town, a grand facade, an empty reality. Herein lies Ashgabat's greatest paradox. The city was built for image, not for people. The 10-lane highways might contain only 2 or 3 cars. The magnificent marble apartments are often unaffordable for ordinary citizens who mostly still live in micro-rayons, older, crumbling Soviet-era apartment blocks on the city's outskirts. The new city centre is a giant stage, and the street cleaners, often women in bright uniforms, are its only constant actors. The second president, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, continued this obsession. He famously banned black cars from the capital, as he believed the colour white brought good luck. Police would impound black cars on the street and force their owners to repaint them white or silver. A massive expense for ordinary citizens. This is the emblem of absolute state control, where one dictator's aesthetic becomes the law governing daily life. The cult of personality, Turkmenbashi, Akhal-Teke, and the absurd dynasty Turkmen politics are dominated by 2 and now 3 figures whose cults of personality rival Stalin's or Kim Il-sung's. Turkmenbashi, the dystopian founding father Saparmurat Niyazov, the first president, crowned himself Turkmenbashi, leader of all Turkmen. He ruled as president for life until his death in 2006. The holy book Runama. His greatest masterpiece was the Runama, Book of the Soul. This book is an absurd mix of rewritten history, spiritual guidance, autobiography, and poetry. Niyazov claimed it was divinely inspired. The Runama became mandatory. It was placed alongside the Quran in mosques. It replaced subjects like physics and algebra in schools. Deep knowledge of the Runama was a requirement to graduate, get a government job, and most famously, pass a driver's license exam. A giant mechanical statue of the book was erected in Ashgabat. Every night its cover would open and a recording would recite excerpts from it. Eccentricities that became law. A new calendar. Niyazov abolished the Gregorian calendar. He renamed the month of January after himself, Turkmenbashi. April was renamed Gurban Sultan Ege, his late mother's name. September was named Ruhnama, his book. He even renamed bread after his mother. Cultural bans. He banned opera, ballet and the circus, calling them insufficiently Turkmen. He banned TV news presenters from wearing makeup because he said he had trouble telling them apart. Golden monuments. His statues were everywhere. The most famous was the Arch of Neutrality, a 75-metre-tall pillar topped by a 12-metre-tall giant golden statue of Niyazov. It was placed on a rotating mechanism so it would always face the sun throughout the day. Akhal-Teke, the multi-talented protector. After Niyazov's sudden death, his personal dentist, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, took power. He promised reforms, restored the names of the months, and reduced the emphasis on the Ruhnama. However, he only replaced the old cult of personality with his own. He took the title Akhal-Teke, the protector. Akhal-Teke built an image as a Renaissance man. The fully controlled state media routinely released videos showcasing his incredible skills. He was a DJ and rapper, performing for cheering crowds, made up of his ministers. He was a professional race car driver, winning races in cars. He designed himself. He was an expert military general, shooting targets with perfect precision while riding a bicycle and throwing knives like an action movie star. He was a composer, writing hit songs sung by the nation's pop stars, including one dedicated to his favourite horse. His cult was also immortalised in marble and gold. In 2015, a 21-metre-tall statue was unveiled. Akhal-Teke riding his favourite Akhal-Teke horse, entirely coated in 24-carat pure gold, atop a white marble cliff. He also deeply loved the Alabai shepherd dog, considered a national heritage. In 2020, amidst an economic crisis and a pandemic, he unveiled a 15-metre-tall giant golden statue of an Alabai dog in the middle of a major Ashgabat intersection, complete with a wraparound LED screen playing videos of the dog. The dynastic transition. In 2022, Akhal-Teke stepped down and handed power to his son, Serdar Berdimuhamedov, in an election widely criticised as a formality. This marked the first dynastic succession in post-Soviet Central Asia, transforming Turkmenistan from an autocratic dictatorship into a de facto monarchy. The Gate to Hell. Eternal fire in the Karakum Desert. The sharpest contrast to Ashgabat's sterile splendour lies 260 kilometres to the north, in the heart of the Karakum Desert, Black Sands, which covers over 70% of the country. This is the location of the Darvaza Gas Crater, or the Gate to Hell. This is not a natural phenomenon. It is an eternal monument to a Soviet miscalculation. In 1971, a group of Soviet geologists was drilling for a natural gas field. They accidentally drilled into a massive underground methane gas pocket. The ground beneath their drilling rig collapsed, creating a large crater about 70 metres, 230 feet in diameter, and 20 metres, 66 feet deep. Poisonous methane gas began to gush out. Fearing the gas would spread and endanger nearby villages, the scientists made what seemed like a logical decision at the time. They would burn it off. They lit the crater on fire, assuming the gas would burn out in a few weeks. That was over 50 years ago. The fire has never gone out. The gas reserve below was vastly larger than anyone had anticipated. For half a century, the crater has burned non-stop. At night, the site is apocalyptic. Its bright orange glow can be seen for kilometres, illuminating the pitch-black desert sky. The roar of the fire is audible from afar, and the heat is intense, even from a safe distance. For Turkmenistan, the crater is a dilemma. On one hand, it's an ongoing environmental disaster, releasing massive amounts of methane into the atmosphere. On the other hand, it is the country's #1 and most authentic tourist attraction. President Berdimuhamedov has repeatedly ordered experts to find a way to extinguish it, but the fire rages on, as if laughing at human attempts to control it. The true treasures, golden horses and soulful carpets. Beyond the bizarre politics, Turkmenistan possesses two ancient and revered cultural pillars that have been part of their identity for millennia. 1. The Akhal-Teke horse, horses from heaven. Long before there were marble ministries, there were horses. Turkmenistan is the home of the Akhal-Teke, one of the oldest, most beautiful, and most genetically pure horse breeds in the world. This horse is a national symbol, featured on the state emblem, and revered almost as a deity. They are known for their legendary endurance, able to survive the harsh desert climate, and their speed. But their defining feature is their coat. A unique protein structure in their hair refracts light, giving them a stunning metallic sheen, often appearing like liquid gold, silver, or bronze. President Berdimuhamedov was an accomplished equestrian and obsessed with the breed, dedicating books, songs, and a national holiday, Turkmen Horse Day, to them. 2. The Turkmen carpet, a map of the tribe's soul. The second treasure is the hand-woven Turkmen carpet. For the Turkmen people, a carpet is not just floor decoration, it is their most important cultural artifact. Historically, nomadic tribes used carpets as everything: the floors of their yurts, their wall coverings, their doors, their saddlebags, and their wedding dowries. Each major tribe in Turkmenistan, Teke, Yomut, Salor, Ersari, Sarik, has its own distinct geometric pattern called a jewel. This girl acts like a family crest or a tribal flag. To see someone's carpet was to know what tribe they came from. These carpets are so vital that 5 primary jewels are displayed vertically on the national flag of Turkmenistan, symbolizing the forced unity of the tribes. The country even has a Ministry of Carpets and celebrates Carpet Day as a national holiday. The paradox of isolation and the natural gas cage. How can this country function in such a bizarre way? The answer is hidden underground. Limitless gas wealth Turkmenistan is sitting on the world's 4th largest verified natural gas reserves. This wealth is what funds everything. The white marble, the golden statues, the presidential palaces, and the powerful security apparatus. It's a classic example of the resource curse, or Dutch disease. Because the state gets nearly all of its income from selling gas to other countries, primarily China, it doesn't need its people. The government doesn't need to levy significant income taxes. It doesn't need tourism. It doesn't need innovation or a dynamic private sector. The unique social contract. This gas wealth created a unique social contract. For decades, Niyazov and Berdimuhamedov provided electricity, water, and natural gas completely free of charge to all citizens. Gasoline was also heavily subsidized, costing almost nothing. It was an unspoken deal. The people would give up all political freedoms, freedom of speech, and freedom of movement. In return, the state would pay all their utility bills. It was a comfortable golden cage. Though, due to economic mismanagement, most of these subsidies were finally abolished in 2019, causing rare discontent. The fortress of isolation. To keep this deal intact and prevent dangerous ideas from outside, the country is sealed. The impossible visa. Getting a tourist visa to Turkmenistan is incredibly difficult. You cannot travel independently. You must hire a state-approved tour agency, and a guide, who also functions as a minder, will accompany you 24/7. The controlled internet, Turkmenet. The internet is heavily censored, painfully slow, and extremely expensive. All Western social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and foreign news sites are blocked. The country has its own intranet called Turkmenet, an isolated, closely monitored digital playground. State-only media. There is only state-run media. The top news story every single day, without fail, is about what the president did that day, inaugurating a new marble-clad factory, riding a golden horse, or receiving a standing ovation from his ministers. Conclusion. The mystery behind the marble curtain Turkmenistan is a country of the most extreme paradoxes, a nation that is officially neutral yet militaristically closed, a nation of infinite energy wealth yet whose people outside the capital live in simplicity, a nation that celebrates its ancient Silk Road history. The legendary city of Merv, once one of the largest cities in the world, is here, yet aggressively isolates itself from the modern world. It is a giant social experiment, an architectural fantasy funded by gas, and a hermit kingdom ruled by an eccentric dynasty. To the outside world, Turkmenistan remains Central Asia's greatest enigma. Behind the cold, glittering marble facade and beyond the eternal glow of the gate to hell, the lives of 6 million people unfold in a carefully curated reality. The biggest question remains: is Ashgabat a vision of a bright future, or is it the most magnificent and loneliest golden cage ever built? The answer is likely hidden forever behind that white marble curtain.